The Minnesota Wild Podcast is presented exclusively by Acrisure.
Maintenance, yeah.
Okay, so no concern as far as him being out tomorrow or anything like that. Johansson was on the ice. He's looking good to go?
He looks good, yeah. I'll talk to the trainers afterward. He went through the whole practice and looked good, so that's real positive.
And Ogren will travel?
Ogren will travel, yeah.
So would this be sort of a beginning of a process of maybe at some point he could play?
Exactly. I think it's a little bit like, kind of like Zeev when he came in, that he's been kind of away from the team. So now, in the team meetings, in and around the team, seeing what's going on. So just kind of incorporating him into, he's missed a lot really from the start of the series till now. So I think it's incorporating him to how we want to play and what we're doing, what the keys to the series are, and get him a little bit mentally engaged in what we're doing.
It felt like, the plan really worked for him, in the second half of the season for Iowa. He got top minutes, scored a bunch. How much do you think that this is something that will help him next year, but if for some reason you need him in the playoffs, that he's going to be in a good position? Yeah,
I think his progression was really good. Even, the call up, send down. And, every time that we saw him, I thought that he was more comfortable in the NHL level. But a lot of it is just, I think, understanding, like systems and tactics, and that's more natural for him now. And now he's able to, I think, not think. He can just play now. Seems like he's growing, responsible wise without the puck, but then with the puck he's playing fast, he's using his shot. So I think that's kind of what you want in the development of a young guy, is to be able to progress like he has at both levels.
It looked like in practice that Zeev might get a breather Game 5. Is that fair?
Yeah, I haven't made a final decision, on the D, but it is in consideration, yeah.
Do you, when you look again at analytics, I think they're ranked 54th out of 56 defenseman pairs in the playoffs and in expected goals and things like that. Would you say that is, maybe one reason why in overtime the other night you just felt like it wasn't the time to put him out there?
Yeah, I think it was just, it's the things you want to analyze. Like we knew coming into the series, I think it was, it started at the Anaheim game, and then it started beginning of the series, and as it goes on, and now you're down to the best of 3 series, and the temperature gets turned up in a series, obviously, and you kind of really know what the style of game is going to be and things like that. So the stakes get high again. So it's just trying to make sure that we're doing what's right for the team, what's right for the player, and as always, we try to make the best decision that we feel is going to give our team the chance to win, and that's why we're going through that process right now before we make a final decision.
Again, a reminder that he is just a young kid. This isn't going to be indicative of any future concerns, obviously. He's played well up until this point.
Yeah, not at all. We, like we've talked before, we've also kept him in the lineup and made decisions to keep him in the lineup. So, like I said, some things are game to game, and you just, analyze different things, then you make a decision. But as far as he's concerned as a player, no, I don't think it has any impact on his future at all. I think he's got good experience. It doesn't mean he's going to come out. It doesn't mean he's done. If he does, that he's done for the series. It's, like I said, it's game to game.
Yeah. Given how the series has kind of gone and it's been very even, and even you guys are playing at that winning standard, is that harder to coach and prepare going into the next game, knowing hey, you guys are doing everything, or is it just about fine-tweaking some of those details and some of those smaller elements of the game?
I think it's consistently trying to find a way where we can get better. Are there competitive areas of the game that we feel we can be better in? Last game, yes, we've addressed those. I think there's certain things that we believe are keys to us being really good, and are we doing them consistently enough, well enough? Things like that. So it is tweaking and fine tuning. It's not like you're changing a lot of things, but every game presents something different. There's maybe a little bit of an adjustment that they make on some certain situation that you catch and you address with the team. But a lot of it is the identity that you're playing with, and is it consistent enough, regardless of the score, regardless of the situation. And I think that's what we've done as we've moved on through the series.
John, with how competitive the series is and being even after 4. Are these two teams more similar than dissimilar?
That's a good question. I think there's some similarities in the fact that I think both teams are very conscientious without the puck. I think it's hard to generate quality offense. I think that both teams are willing to compete hard. Both teams are pretty disciplined. I think there's a lot of similarities in that way. I think there's some similarities in the way that we play. Some are a little bit different, but I think the mindsets of both teams are pretty close.
Yeah. I asked that because everything that Vegas was supposed to be so elite at, this scary first line, they're big, they're tough, they have depth. Those are all three things you could say about the Wild, too. And this first line's been scary. Foligno with the hits, Middleton with the blocks, and then your depth, your fourth line is scoring.
Yeah, I think that's a great point that we've had. We do think we have a really good team, and guys are playing at the level that they need to. But the same thing is we're getting contributions throughout the lineup, whether it's defensively or scoring or playing the way that we believe we need to play to be able to win. And we have some buy-in with that, and then we think because we have the buy-in and the commitment and everyone's on the same page. We have guys that have talent as well.
So that's not to combat their strengths. That's how you're built to win on your own, regardless.
Yeah, that's what we think. Yeah.
Sean, 3 goals in 4 games for Foligno. He's having statistically his best playoff at this point in his career. Just how important is he as a playoff player, the way he plays?
Well, he's very important because I think the attributes he plays with is built for playoff time. I think, but he's under control. When he finds times to get hits, he's getting hits. When they're not, he's not chasing it. He's not over-emotional. I think he's really mentally engaged in the game. He's physically engaged in the game. He's playing the game and the style of game with his puck play that sets him up to be able to be a strong player. And then when he's getting his goals, he's in and around the net front. So I think that combination and his mindset has allowed him to be a real factor for us.
From a media standpoint, he's a guy we can always go to, always tell the truth and speak on behalf of the team. I mean, how much of that do you see in the room as well?
Yeah, I mean, Moose is an emotional, vocal guy. I think when you look at your leadership group and you look at your captains, they all bring something different. And Moose, as you guys see with the media, he's a guy that he's not afraid to say what's on his mind. And, he's a well-spoken kid, but he's the same way in the room, too. If something needs to be said, he does it. But he's an emotional leader, whether it's on the bench, in the room, whatever it might be. And that's what, I think that's what he brings in his leadership style.
You mentioned guys built for the playoffs. How much does trending one of those guys too? He seemed like he's very noticeable this series. That forecheck on Marco's goal too. I think it's the best you've probably seen him play this season. Or?
No, that's why we got him. Like, he's a playoff guy in Nashville. He's one of our best players in the playoffs, and when the heat gets turned up and the games are physical, and that component of it is a major factor in the game. He rises to the occasion. I think it fits his style of game really well, and you can see the impact that he's making in the series, whether it's playing north fast, forecheck, physical, tough to play against, defensively responsible, all those things he's bringing to the table, and that's it's good to see because, we felt when you come in and whether it's down the stretch or in the Central Division or in the playoffs, you need guys like that in your lineup, and he's delivering for us at the most important time.
Some guys have been better at faceoffs too, like Eriksson Ek too, has been really good in the circle. Like, have you noticed anything about that, or anything tweaks you guys have made, or just guys just because they're just working at it?
I think it's really digging in and understanding the importance of it, and sometimes it's easier too when you're not playing this center and then that center and this center. Usually when you kind of, for the most part, there's 4 guys you're going against in the series. So whether that's being able to study it, tendencies, digging in, or over the course of a time, like you're going, was it now 5 games now, you're going against the same guy. So I think that's when your competitive nature, can take over. If you're getting wiped in a circle at some point in the game, it's not like you're moving on the next night to a different guy, or matchups are a little bit stronger in the playoffs, so I think that helps as well.
When you're so close to 3-1 and Doan, I mean, have you noticed, they all said the right things after the game the other night, but how have you noticed them off the ice in the couple days since? The business level of just putting it behind them.
Yeah, I think business as usual for us. It's we had an opportunity to win the game. We didn't win the game, but now we got a day off. We had a day off yesterday, which I thought was really beneficial, and then we came back to work, and now it's a best of 3. I think for us at this point in the time, the 2 days is probably good for us. Mm-hmm. You get a little bit of a reset. It's the first day they've had off in the whole series. We didn't have to travel, and now I think they come back today energized. We had a game plan for them, and now we move on to the next 3. So I think from that standpoint, it was beneficial, and we'll be ready to go.
If there's no Zeev next game, Spurgeon was on the top power play last in the overtimes like that. Do you think that'd be your plan going forward if there's no Zeev, him or Faber on the top power play?
Yeah, it could be. We're kind of working through that a little bit of what we would do, but at this point, I don't know 100% who would be up top.
And Merrill, do you think having this much time off between games will be an issue, or it's just an injury and just come back? And
Yeah, I mean he's a pro, and he's been working and done it. He's got playoff experience. If he goes in, we would expect him to be at the top level. I mean, it's really two ways. It's when you're out of the lineup in your playoff series, you're one injury away, or you're one lineup decision away. So. What he's been doing away from the rink and the work he's been put in should have him prepared to be ready to play.
Do you think the overtime the other day almost showed you that you kind of had to go this route? Because, I mean, clearly you didn't feel comfortable rolling your 3 lefty there. So, I mean, and it probably tired some guys out. I mean, do you think that sort of was the final, like, we got to make a change here?
I wouldn't say it was the final. It's part of I think a bigger decision, of just where our team's at, where the series is at, the style of game. Now you're going into a best of 3. It's more that than it was any particular situation.
Mm-hmm. How's Midzi? I mean, have you talked to him, or you don't?
Who's that?
Middleton after the mistake. Have you even do you even talk to him after that, or he just knows?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna. It's a tough play. It's nothing you can do about it. It's not like he tried, he meant to do it or anything like that. But no, it's not something that I think you dwell on. Yeah, you just make sure that, let's move on to the next one. There's nothing we can do about it now. So, from that standpoint, same thing with the game. Mm-hmm. You take the lessons out of it, and then you got to keep going. I mean, you look around the playoffs right now. I think there's only 2 series that are 3-1. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
some teams are up. Some teams are up 2-0.
Yeah.
It's parity. It's hard. For us, it's a race to 4. It's not a race to 3. It's a race to 4. For
an extraordinary advantage in sports, you need a game plan. For an extraordinary advantage everywhere else, all you need is Acrisure. With a high-tech human approach to insurance, cybersecurity, and more, Acrisure helps you take care of what you care about. That makes winning easy. See what Acrisure's extraordinary advantage can do for you at Acrisure.com.